Winning off seasons have got.
Oh, we hit the wrong button.
BJ Nix, are you here?
Present.
Present. Spoonie, Timothy Spoonie.
Present, sir.
Margaret and Mary. Do we have a Margaret and Mary?
Yes.
Cool.
And the margaritas.
Right. Here, we're ready. Let's go.
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
This is the time to line up behind your team, to support your team, have faith in that team.
You know, it's peaks and valleys. You know, it can't always be good. And as I always tell people, you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. But when we do know about
house call, Tremont Diggs, pick six. It's coming. They see it. Knocked away. Oh, Gregory. Hurts in trouble. 3 Cowboys wrap him up, make it 4. Micah Parsons is unblockable.
ladies and gentlemen, TGIF. We are in the building. It is the Pick Six Sports crew with you. I hope everybody's having a fantastic Friday. And man, we are what we like to, or what I like to call, anyways. Man, it's Christmas Eve for football. We are less than 24 hours away to seeing the Cowboys on the field, getting after it. And I know everyone in the building's super excited about it. I know we're super excited about it. And you know, on the eve of football really kicking off, you had to go get the guy, Mr. Fourth and Long, to come through and bless. And I don't know, I mean, your pockets are pretty fat after hanging with the boys today with that fire sermon. I mean, we could have got Professor O hitting the organ with smoothie sermons going on for what you were preaching. Well, they had to calm you down, go to break. I mean, you was in the building. Mr. Jesse Holley, no eye, don't get it twisted. No eye in the building whatsoever. How we doing on this Friday, my guy?
I'm good, man. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it, man. And I don't think enough love goes out to you guys and gals. Just the work that you do. I understand that I'm privileged because of where I come from, but it's the community of people like you all who really make this thing just grow. And I always get excited to join because I know that, like, this is, you guys work hard. Like, you work hard. Like, I get to go into a studio that's all done up and all that kind of crazy stuff and all but like, the work that you guys put in with what you have is phenomenal, man. And not enough credit goes into that. I got a chance to see it firsthand working with my guy Skywalker, and I'm like, I told Sky, I said, man, thank God I played football. I said, because I couldn't do it. Man, like the intro that you guys had come in, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't know where to begin to do that stuff. So,
let me give a shout out. That is actually my daughter. We call her Producer Jay. She put that thing together. Well, these youngins are about that action.
So kudos and shout out to you guys for doing amazing work and just grinding, man. And that's honorable and admirable and applaudable because it doesn't go unnoticed. I can tell you that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Man, appreciate that. But you know what? You did it the long way as well, sir. and your grind and how you got to the league and what you did at times inspires people like us. Our grind is it's the same, but very much differently, right? Like you had to go the long way and get there. And guess what? As you're talking about, Skywalker and talk about, us and other people in the industry that are doing Shout the Tuck and other people. Hey, you said you watch Skywalker could do that. Guess what? Man, we couldn't run those routes. We couldn't catch that ball in San Francisco and get on knees and put them hands to the air and go through what you did. So
you might have got one more yard though. You might have got one.
You know what though? But you know what was great about that? Whenever you told the story about not getting that yard and what it meant and how that encompassed everything, I'm glad you didn't score now.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. That just brought everything right home. But with that being said, I mean, we had Kyle Yeomans on, and I came in here and Tony's doing God's Rings. That's the best intro ever. Low key for any guest that we've ever had. Say less. It might not get any better, Professor O.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, it's just really cool because you get an opportunity to play college football at UNC like you did. That's big. You're playing ACC football. A lot of high school guys would dream of getting that opportunity, right? Then you get an opportunity to be on Michael Irvin's show, 4th and Long, which is why you're Mr. 4th and Long. You win that show, which just secures you a roster spot for training camp, a training camp invitation. It doesn't guarantee you a spot on the actual 53-man roster. Then you overcame that and made the roster. Like your story, you're talking about us grinding. Like Nick said, you did the exact same thing. So kudos to you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that part. With that being said, first and foremost, Kimber, how's your Friday? Well, actually, I know how your Friday's going because you had them steaks and you put them up off that grill, huh? Yeah.
Had a little beef tenderloin this evening. A little start the Friday off right. So
okay.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. We had a little fiery space going on. That's what happens.
Yeah,
when
Washington Eagles fans show up.
in.
And as I said, it just lets us know we're getting so close to the season now because now they're trying to poke their head in and poke the chest out and talk. But hey, that's what makes it fun about the NFC East, and we get those rounds. We get to have those kind of conversations. Spoonie, my guy, how you doing this Friday, man?
I'm doing better now. Eagles fans always get
yeah. If y'all missed the space, Spoonie lit it up in the space a little bit. So that part.
Freak is not going to give either Spoonie or I a Christmas card this year. After
I don't think so.
Space.
Football's back. It's a great conversation, great rivalry going on. Everybody's so amped up to see their team play. It's been once the season gets over with, we go to the draft process, the free agency. It still takes its time. It's a long time. So, just happy to be here and get to see some football. And hopefully the team that wears the star goes up one more step,
That part. And Professor O, right before you came on, if y'all know this about Professor O, he has sharks in his garage. No cap. I'm telling you, he has sharks in the garage. He's like, hey, I'm feeding the sharks. I'll be there in a minute. How's your Friday going?
Yeah, it's going good. So, I have 2 sharks. They're about 2 feet long, roughly right now. They're in a giant, like one of those pop-up ponds that people buy. They're like, 5x7 or whatever. I have that set up in my garage. So I have saltwater sharks. I've had saltwater fish my entire life. So
you got real sharks.
Yeah, real sharks. Yeah.
I'll send you a video afterwards. Yeah. Real sharks.
It's like one of my biggest phobias. Sharks are one of my biggest phobias.
No, they're cool. They're cool. They like eat out of my hand. It's nice.
Yeah, see.
For now, then becomes your hand.
I don't know. Yeah, that is the same. Hey, is everybody's coming in?
I got all 10 still. We're good.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. And look, and guys, I know Wednesday night we said, hey, O was the first person in Oxnard. He was the last person in Oxnard. O loves Oxnard so much, he's still right there. He ain't leaving.
I need to get a new background. I'll have to throw something else up next week.
Everybody in the building, man, y'all know the drill, man. We appreciate it, man. Share it out there, build it up here. We're going to be rocking with y'all for about 2 hours. Mr. 4th and Long, Jesse Holley, is going to bless us for about 30 minutes. We do have Mr. Tom Downey coming through as well. We're going to get to this Cowboys football. I know that's why y'all here. Y'all don't hear about these sharks and steaks and everything else. So we're going to get into it for sure. And, of course, if you're on Facebook, or Twitter, because we're live everywhere, please, right there at the bottom of the screen, it says Pick 6 Sports. Come on over. Hit the sub button. If you come in here and say you sub, the chat's going to light you up. It's going to welcome you. Our wrench gang is in the building. The Mods Supremes, TC, Mendoza, they're going to get you built up. And we're about 48-50 away. If we do hit 1K tonight, I told y'all, I'm chugging Jack Daniels if we hit 1K tonight. So that's where we're at and that's where we're going. But let's get into why y'all are here and why we're here. Sir, I'm going to say the Apple Talk to you right before you get out of here. We're going to end on the Apple Talk because I am so there with you. If we had a collection plate around here, if anybody missed it, blogging the boys, they had to throw some water on you. They had to wave you down.
Hanging with the boys.
Yeah, I said blogging boys. I'm sorry, RJ. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought RJ. Hanging with the boys. Jesus Christ. Hanging with the boys. Man, that was fire and what you had going on there. Let me get, for those that happen to miss it, your thing and what your thoughts were when it came into this joint practice and what you saw and how you reacted and what it meant to you and what you saw.
Yeah, coming into the joint practice, I was looking for a couple things, and coming off the heels of the Cowboys playing the 49ers in the playoffs last year, there was a toughness issue for me. When you see it, and it means nothing to nobody, but when I see them come out with a boombox and they're playing Super Gremlin, and you got Trent Williams and a dude named Debo walking out, and you got Jimmy Garoppolo bopping with them, like that's a tone setter. Believe it or not, like that is and they're on the road. They felt comfortable enough to come in your house and say, I don't give a damn where we're at. This is what we're bringing. I'm bringing this dog to the fight. And we didn't respond at all. Yeah, they came back in there because Jimmy Garoppolo was trying to give the game away. But initially, they came out and they inserted their dominance, their toughness, their physicality into that football game. And then we heard in the offseason, this draft that we're going to be looking to bring in tough, physical players. And you really can't tell during OTAs. Mini camps. That's why I watch that stuff. I'm looking for certain things, but you get the trend when the pads come on. That's when football is being played. And so this was the first opportunity to go out there and face somebody that you have not seen in training camp that don't give a damn about you. See, when you go in against the guys in training camp, we're gonna go hard to a degree. We're going to go hard and say, oh, you're still my guy, so I still got to take care of you. So I'm not going to dump you on your head. Or I'm not going to just try to embarrass you because you're my boy. You're my guy. We locker mates. We play Fortnite together. But when you go to another team, they don't care. You got other guys on that team trying to make a roster, and the only way for me getting on the roster is through you. So when I came into this joint practice, I wanted to see a level of toughness. Now, this is the argument that I got into with people on Twitter, which I hate myself for sometimes, but we all get pulled into it from time to time. People were equating toughness with fights.
Different.
I don't give a damn about a fight. That ain't tough to me. Tough to me is when you strap up and you go, I'm gonna dominate you. And I'm gonna make your day so miserable that when you go back to film, you're not gonna want to go back to film because they're gonna see me putting you on your derriere over and over. And toughness to me is saying the guys that are on this roster last year, this was the same football team that came into our house and completely dominated us, broke foot off up in our tails. To me, toughness is coming in and saying, I owe you. And if there's going to be a fight being started, let the fight be started because I just pancaked you and now I'm using your face smash to get off the ground. And the one thing that I saw in that practice that sent me through the roof was the Bradley Chubb play.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't the hit on Bradley Chubb, the hit on Zeke from Bradley Chubb. That wasn't the thing that got me. The thing that got me, and we can all go back and watch that play, watch it and watch it again and watch it again. Watch the Cowboys after Bradley Chubb, who, by the way, that was intentional. That wasn't a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it was a mistake, he would have tried to hold him up. He would have reached down and grabbed him up. He banged him and instantly went into celebration mode.
Yep.
The Cowboys offensive linemen all turned around, dropped their heads, and walked back to the huddle. That to me was the indicator that this team ain't figured out how to be tough yet. Now, I didn't need a fight to happen. What I wanted to see is for somebody to go, Coach, run the ball again. No, line up again. Let's run it again. And I say that because, and I said it on Hanging with the Boys today. When I was in New England, I came to New England to the year after they were in the Super Bowl, and they lost that Super Bowl. It was the Wes Welker back shoulder fade up the seam that was overthrown, and you had Giselle and them at the elevator talking about you can't do everything, right?
Yeah.
I get to OTA. This just stood out to me so much. We run the play because people always tell me that practice doesn't matter. Okay, cool. They run the play in practice. Same formation, same guy, same everything, same results. Josh McDaniels goes, let's go, next play. Tom Brady stopped practice and we're going to run it again. Josh McDaniels goes, no. We're next play. Tom said, we're running it again. Line up, run it again. Josh says, no. Tom goes, F that. This play cost us the Super Bowl. We're going to run it until we get it right. We lined up. We ran it 2 more times so they completed the pass where that Tom wanted to do. So those type of things, when I'm talking about toughness.
Not once, but twice.
But twice.
Oof.
Because he's like, this play is going to cost us. So when we watch these things happen in practice, and even to Zeke thing, Zeke got hit by his own fault. He should have. That's a toss crack the other way. That's a free. He's gonna be an unblocked defender. You can't run back into him. So it's things like that. But the way that those guys hung their head at the end of that play and just casually walked back to the huddle with no fight, with no nothing. That was the clear indication to me that this team hasn't figured out yet, at least offensively, what it means to be tough,
right?
What it means to be physical on a down in and down out basis. Because when you watch that live practice, there was a lot of the Denver Broncos penetrating that offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
And even some of the plays that Dak Prescott was able to make down the field.
Oh, you've been sacked.
Some was good. A lot of those would have been sacks. Well, a lot of those would have been check downs or throw downs, but Dak understands that they're not going to tackle me. They're not going to hit me. So I'm just going to step up and I'm going to complete the passes to finish our play to get good work in. So those type of things I'm looking at and I'm saying, I don't know if this team is true. Not that I don't know. This team has not figured out a way to become mentally or physically tough. And it has nothing to do with fighting, everything to do with what we see on a day in and day out basis.
Fair enough. I got Maxwell real quick. Says, can you coach toughness, or is it there or not?
You can coach toughness. Coaching toughness would have said, line back up, we run it again. Guys feed off that. Like, as players, as dominant as alpha male as we come, we're looking to follow someone's lead. We're looking for someone to lead us somewhere. My special teams coach was Joe D. Camillus. I would have run through 10 brick walls for him. And he would give me a sound. He would say, Jess, listen, here's what I need. Yo, you got to deal with so-and-so and so-and-so. 285 pounds on kickoff return. But if you get him on this block, we're going to have something. And I'm like, damn, I'm 215 pounds. He's 285 pounds with a 35-yard head start. This might not end well for me. But Jody, I got you. Listen, he may run me over. He ain't gonna make the tackle. I'm gonna do my job. And so we're looking for someone to lead us. So yes, you can teach it. You can teach it. And now everybody might not get it, but it becomes, I don't know if you're following Hard Knocks or not, but like, I don't know what the Detroit Lions will be, but because of their head coach, they're gonna be tough. Yeah. They may not have the talent to win a lot of games, but you ain't gonna punk them. You gonna know at the end of the day that you were dealing with a tough team. When you're dealing with the 49ers, because the approach is, this is how we're gonna practice, this is how we're gonna play. Right. This is the mentality that our coaches is embarking and embedding in us. So we're gonna reflect that. Yeah. But when this is Mike McCarthy's fault, and we talked about this, kind of before the show. Nobody was a bigger fan of Mike McCarthy being hired here than me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'll raise my hand. I'm right there with you. Look at Cam laughing. She knows. Yeah. I'm
he
here.
was. I was not.
Yeah.
I was not. I was out.
But I mean, he doesn't come off as the guy who's going to be the look at the defense. You're starting to see the defense play a little bit more tough. That's because why? They're taking on the personality and the image of who? Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn says, I got a star who's taking on our image as well, and Micah Parsons. So when you have that and you have that energy, this ain't the hot boys talking. This is a different thing than the hot boys just talking. This is a dude going out there saying, I'm gonna F you up every single play. Every single play.
Hashtag deal with it. Hashtag deal with it. Let me spin the block here. Let me get these questions out. I know limited time here. I'm gonna go ladies first, Cam. I know you're ready. Go right ahead. And your question for Mr. Holley.
I guess kind of like, I mean, because I've been feeling that same way about the offense, that it just feels soft to me and like that. Do you see a player, well, besides Zach Martin? I mean, because I can't call Zach Martin soft. I mean, do you see a player on that offense that is embodying that toughness and that go that you see at all?
No. No.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, and even like, I want to preface this by saying I'm not calling Zach Martin soft. Zach Martin, but he's not the guy. Like, he's not the guy that you're looking like. Like, Zach Martin isn't setting tone. Now he's going to do his job at an All-Pro level, but he isn't setting the tone. Like, you're not going to see Zach Martin getting. He's not the tone setter.
Yeah.
He's going to do.
Need a hype man.
He's going. Terrence Hill was kind of the guy, right? He was the one kind of mixing it up a little bit in the practice, a little bit, right? Like the second little skirmish, like it was still kind of. He was the one that kind of started the one, right? He was kind of the tough guy.
Like, if Lyle Collins was on this team, that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
I totally agree.
Right?
Fair enough. With that being said, Cowboys Report on. Mr. Tom Downey has checked in and chimed in for tonight. Sir, how are you doing this evening?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on, everyone.
Absolutely. Not a problem, good sir. As we got Holley here and we got Downey, we got a full house going right now, ladies and gentlemen. Real quick, I'm going to pivot and we'll get around here and appreciate you as well. Hopefully your Friday is going fantastic, my guy. I know you're busy. You took some time out, so we appreciate you coming over here and rocking with us. I think you got about 30 minutes with us, is about where you're at, and we'll try to make it very quickly and get you out of here. Professor O, your question's up next for Holley. We'll kind of pivot around and get to it, man.
Yeah, so Jesse, this is my first time getting a chance to chat with you. I was a wide receiver too. That's kind of like in my DNA and what I know. So a lot of the question for the Cowboys fans so far has been what the wide receiver room looks like heading into training camp versus what we know now. So obviously with Washington being out, we started hearing, we saw the TJ Vasher amazing catch. We see Dennis Houston getting to run with the ones. We see Noah Brown and Simi having really good camps so far. So the state of the wide receiver room, at least for me, has kind of changed now versus what I was at 2 weeks ago. Because when Washington went out, I was one of the guys like, we got to make a move, go sign somebody, go make a trade, whatever. So how do you feel about the wide receiver room so far as it stands right now today? Not when Gallup comes back or Washington, but heading into the season with this current group, how do you feel about it?
I'm nervous. You're talking about heading into the season with a very unproven group. And I take CeeDee Lamb out of that group, right? We're talking about everyone else except CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
So you go into this group, and the only person in this group that's healthy right now that has NFL receptions, and I think only like 14 or 16 in his 5 years in the National Football League, is Noah Brown.
Noah Brown.
That's it.
Yep.
So now you're talking about heading into a season, and guys, what a great play the other day by CeeDee Lamb in practice. I mean, he turned that DB around, and they were cool at 1 point. But I don't know if you know this or not. You think defensive coordinators is just going to line up and let CeeDee Lamb get one-on-one coverage all day long?
No.
You would be a fool. You should be fired, in fact. If you're a defensive coordinator and you say to yourself, the Cowboys are going to march out here in the wide receiver room, CeeDee Lamb, a guy who has 16 receptions, a guy who has no receptions, a tight end and a running back. And I'm going to give him one-on-one coverage. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take away 88. And we're going to say, hey, number 4, if you really that dude, you're gonna have to make these other 3 unproven guys beat us. And if you're able to do that, then I tip my cap to you, and we go on about our business with this loss. That's simple mathematics, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. So this whole idea that CeeDee Lamb is just going to have this free roam to do whatever he wants to do with 3 unproven guys out there with him, oh no. Now, those guys have to show up and show out. And that's going to take some time, because when those, you see, in training camp, like Simi Fehoko has never, ever seen a real-life Sunday action, fast-moving, actually things happening, defensive coordinator throwing different looks at you. He's never seen it. Now, I'm not saying that he can't adjust to it, but he's never seen it. Noah Brown has seen it some. Jalen Tolbert has seen it none on Sundays. TJ Vasher has seen it none on Sundays. So you're talking about now going into a situation like the Bucs, where it's gonna be 100% baptized. You're gonna have to baptize by fire with those guys. The Bucs are gonna bring everything. They're gonna confuse the hell out of you, and they're still gonna say, "Hey, Dak, we saw what happened in the second half of last year, and you struggled with throwing the ball in the zone, and we get a 3-man rush up front and make you have to throw around 8 defenders. We like our chances. We double CeeDee Lamb, and now if you're gonna dink and dunk to the tight end and the running backs all day, we'll live with that, and we'll say either you're gonna have to 5-yard us all the way down the field, or eventually we're gonna win this battle." So to answer your question, always, there's a little bit of timidity in me with this wide receiver room, because there's so much unproven now that you're asking these guys to go out there on Sunday and live up to the productivity that you had in years past.
Okay.
Totally fair. Totally fair. We talk about that too, saying the Cowboys offense really is going to heavily rely on Dalton Schultz. I know he was a guy that people weren't excited about because of the franchise tag, but he's your de facto number 2 in this offense. He just is. Okay. You have nobody else proven until somebody steps up and takes it, until Gallup returns. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. My guy, Tom, shoot a question at you if you're ready, sir, if you're comfortable and everything. So far, and how this campus rolled, and where we're at, and we had the joint practice and the ups and downs and everything that happened within that and whatnot. For you, going into the first preseason game less than 24 hours away, what do you need to see in this game? And I get it, there's gonna be a lot of the backups and different things that are happening, right? Not a lot of starters, but what is something that you're your eagle eyes looking at here in this first preseason game against the Broncos?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to have any of the starters really playing, I don't expect. So I guess special teams, from kicker to how I assume it's going to be Kevontae Turpin on returns, and which guys are out there getting the reps, I think will help inform how the back end of the roster all gets put together in the end, since I don't think we're going to see any of the noteworthy starters. Maybe a couple guys get a series or 2, but I think it'll be heavy backups, and therefore it's kind of special teams, and hope the kickers aren't bad.
Is it maybe Maher still, or is it Money Maher after going 16 of 18 with the Saints last year?
I mean, I called Greg Zuerlein the kicker with no first name or last name for the back half of the season, so I think we got to go with maybe Maher for now.
Okay. As you're talking about special teams real quick, and obviously the Liram and Maher were out there in 2014 in Winnipeg in the CFL going at each other, right? Do you think Liram actually has a chance here, or this really they're wanting Maher to walk through the door? Like, is Liram? I mean, he obviously made the first round of cuts, I guess we could say, a kicker.
Yeah, I mean, I think they wanted Garibay to be the guy, and that was just not good at all. Despite, I think it was a fine signing, but I guess in the end he couldn't handle the pressure of having to fight for that job or whatnot. So I do think he has a chance. I think Fossil would prefer a stronger leg guy back there than Iralahu, but if Maher doesn't make his kicks, I think they stick with Iralahu and or bring in a third guy to compete.
Okay,
guy, I guess.
Bubble Guts. I can hear the Bubble Guts in the chat right now. 6th, 7th. I mean, how many are going to bring? Yeah, Bubble Guts here, and especially coming off of last season, right? Because you can say the Bucs in the Raiders game, if the kicker makes his kicks, maybe you're 14-2, maybe you got the first round bye. Special teams matter. That's my hashtag. They do matter. So you're speaking to my heart. I'll pivot over to Spoonie. I know we're running a little bit long here. Spoonie, for Holley, if you have a question for him, or Tom right now, whichever you want to rock.
This will be for both. We all know wide receiver is the biggest question mark on this team. What's your confidence level between 1 through 10, with 10 is the extreme confidence that regardless of tomorrow's preseason, do you feel the Cowboys will still make a move to get another receiver here, whether it be veteran, through free agency, or through trade?
I'd defer to Jesse since, he's the receiver.
I'll let you go first, Tom.
Oh, all right. Back and forth.
You served and you returned. And he volleyed. So,
jeez, I am inclined to think they're gonna let and see what the young guys can do, and maybe they're hoping. And I know this is what Todd Archer's reported, so I'm sure it's what it is, since he never misses. They're hoping Gallup's back before week 4, and if it's only 3 games, you can talk yourself into, hey, we can run 12 personnel, we can use 21 personnel, we can find ways to limit our wide receiver usage and get by with CeeDee Lamb and Tolbert, and or hope a Noah Brown, a Vasher, a Dennis Houston, if Aoko emerges. So I wouldn't mind exploring the other option, but I kind of take the Joneses at their word that they'll wait and see for the time being.
Yeah. Holley?
Tom, that's pretty confident. You take the Jones at their word. That's something.
I know. That's very true.
That wasn't on the card for me tonight, Tom. I can tell you that right now.
Hey, talent acquisition's a 365.
There it is.
Job, right?
Yeah, 24 hours a day. Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm if Tim being the greatest, I'm around 8.5 that they're gonna sign a receiver. I think when you get to the rest of this training camp and through preseason, I don't think, because what is, Vasher had the really good catches in practice. It's kind of been like, what is it, what it has been lately. Noah Brown has been really consistent. And I think sometimes we look at consistency. I look at consistency compared to what else is around him, right? And it's like, if I just don't do as bad as those other guys, then I'm cool. Because it's not like I don't have to have the big highlight reels. I have to just be somewhere in the middle. I gotta just be consistent enough in the middle to where I'm not at the low end with the rest of those guys. But if I just keep doing it, I'll say, you know what, these other guys aren't doing it right. Maybe they're, and a lot of it, what a lot of people on the outside don't see is when they go to the film room, who actually lined up right, who actually ran the right route, who actually saw the coverage. So all of those things go into play. And if Noah Brown is consistently, because he's the one guy, honestly, who has the most, he has the most years in this group, in this offense, with this team and this quarterback. So he should understand what it is to line up and being able to play the multiple positions, to know the standard coverage and all that kind of stuff. So I just find it hard to believe that that's the lineup that you're going to go with into the season, regardless of when Gallup. Because even if he comes back, fellas and ladies, in 3 games, you still got to work yourself back into this thing. Everything has to be worked back in. So you're talking about maybe another 6 games before he kind of really gets his legs underneath him. And now we're talking 10 games into the season. Where does that leave us? Are we 6 and 4, 7 and 3, 6, 5 and 5? Where does that leave us? So I don't think they're going to allow themselves to get to a point where they revert back to that wide receiver by committee, and now you got to give up more than you actually want because things ain't kind of going as you expected them to go, and now you got to give up a first-round pick like you did for Amari Cooper years ago. So
I hope you're right.
Do you think Will Fuller or someone like that, or do you think that's going to be a trade, that they're not going to go free agency?
Yeah, I mean, Will Fuller he's probably one of the better names left in the free agency.
Right.
But hell, he's more injured than anybody. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know that you may not be looking for it to have that role to play all 17 games. You kind of need a stopgap before you get Washington and Gallup back. But personally, I was praying in the offseason for a guy like Jarvis Landry. I wanted Jarvis Landry so bad because I think Jarvis Landry fits Dak Prescott. I think this is a guy I think Dak Prescott works so much better with route runners and guys who can work the middle of the field and the intermediate levels. I know everybody says, take the top off, take the top off, take the top off. To me, that's That's not Dak's strong suit. He can throw the ball deep, but Dak works in that 8 to 15-yard range masterfully. And I think a guy like Jarvis Landry, who's able to run routes in that space, as well as being a great leader to these young guys that you're trying to bring up, I thought that would have been a perfect signing, and it didn't happen. Whatever, but I think this team needs more route runners than just take the top off type of players.
I got you. Yeah, I want to pivot real quick. I'm gonna get over to the defensive side of the ball, and look. I'm going to throw a dart out here, and just because you didn't get to see a lot of the defense up in Denver, right? But you get to see a lot of defense in Denver for the joint practice. But, I was kind of, we've been hearing things about Sam Williams and things have been happening. And in the three, he's inside of 3 tech, right? He's playing the edge, whatever's happening. And then, like, in a couple of moments, I kind of saw him standing up and rushing. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I haven't really heard a lot about that, and I kind of try to go cherry pick and see if I could find somewhere where I saw some of that. But, there's a lot of things that happen here and there. I couldn't really find anything on that particular topic. And in my head, I'm like, is Dan Quinn maybe sandbagging on Sam Williams some? Is he kind of maybe waiting to unlock him? Or, I don't know where it's really at that moment. But I was like, I didn't expect to see him standing up in the joint practice and rushing off the edge from a standing position from what we had heard in the reports. I was kind of like, the rotation, what was going to happen with him. So I asked you guys, Downey and Mr. Mr. Holley, is there something to be had there with Sam Williams and how maybe they're kind of waiting to get him out here and do things, or what's Dan Quinn maybe cooking up and thinking about here with Sam Williams?
Jesse can go first this time since I went first.
There it is. I was waiting for. I was waiting to see who's going to start first last time.
Tom, I don't know if you noticed or not. I like to talk, so I have no
It's all good.
I think Micah Parsons has unlocked this mad scientist brain of Dan Quinn. What do I mean by that? I think when Dan Quinn got Micah Parsons last year and he had the suspension and the injuries, and all of a sudden he was like, you know what? He's not. We didn't draft him to be a rush guy. Well, let's see if he can actually rush. Holy crap! This dude is amazing. He can do everything. And so now I think Dan Quinn is like, maybe I can strike lightning twice. Not saying that I find another Micah Parsons, but what if this guy has some other attributes that we just don't quite know? And by the way, what if one day on a third down package, I want to line up Sam Williams at the 3, I want to line up Micah at the right end, I want to line up DeMarcus Lawrence at the other end, and have Anthony Barr and just do whatever I want to do. So it's like, I think for him now it's he's saying, let me see how he works here. Let me see what he works like here. Let me see what it looks like here. Because now I can put together these packages where now I got Micah and Sam on the same side, and now they're doing tackle in twist. And then now you can have, they can do that, and then you can have Anthony Barr come in late on a green dog blitz. And so there's so many things I think now when you have this versatility, this athleticism between Micah Parsons and Sam Williams, and now you add in Anthony Barr, who's just a solid. He's I call him a football dude, right? Like he's just a football dude, and you know that he's going to be able to come in and play solid brand of football. He's a starter, so he knows what's happening. I mean, he had George Edwards over in Minnesota, so the language is probably similar in some of the ways that they're calling it or doing it. So I think Micah unlocked this other side of Dan Quinn's brain, and now he's like, I'm in the lab, mad scientist, all of this stuff up because I want to give these quarterbacks and these offensive coordinators so many different looks. It doesn't have to be every down, but when I need to splash it in on those money downs to really get home and change the trajectory of a game, I want to be able to do that.
Tom, you maybe buying, maybe they're kind of saying, or maybe they're going to unleash him a little bit more than maybe just a rotational guy, maybe what we thought out of the outset with Sam, or where you at?
Pretty much buying what Jesse said. I think Dan Quinn's going to be very creative with how and where he lines up a lot of his players. I think that's DeMarcus Lawrence. I think that's Micah Parsons. I think you can do a lot of fun things in terms of you can, in your 3rd and 9, whatever, you got DeMarcus Lawrence, Sam Williams, maybe a Dorrance Armstrong, Osa out there. And what if you put both Micah and Anthony Barr lined up in the A-gaps and try to do the simulated pressure stuff of where are they coming from, trying to confuse the quarterback. So I think you'll see those guys line up a little bit all over the place, from 3 technique to your typical, defensive end spot. I think you'll see Sam Williams still more of a situational player early on, but I think that was very much a Dan Quinn pick, and I think he's going to have some fun ideas for how to utilize him, just like Jesse said.
Yeah, and that's kind of where, for me, and I learned my lesson last season. Some of these guys they were signing, they were bringing in here like the Carlos Watkins of the world. And it's like, okay, well, he's a big body, he's a cam body. All right, we'll see what happens. And we quickly learned what Dan Quinn's doing. He has a plan for these guys. Whoever he's bringing in, there is a distinct plan. And so I was like, guess what? I am out on this. Oh, he's a camp body. I'm through with that. If Dan Quinn's bringing him in here now, I'm like, okay, there's something he's thinking about and what he's moving forward with. So, obviously there's just been a lot of different talk, pre-draft, through the draft, and then before we got to camp with Sam Williams, and then we've heard some things through camp. So again, just seeing him out that way and doing things, just kind of, for me, I was like, oh, Dan Quinn, what are you doing here, sir? Are you giving me something? Go ahead, Holley.
And take a page back from back in the day, New York Giants, when they had the NASCAR package, right? Like, I had to see that NASCAR package at time. They left them in on punt return. They left the NASCAR package in. And so now you have standing up, you got Tough, you got Osi Umenyiora, you got Canty, you got a young JPP, and these guys are all, you got Pierce in the middle. You got all these guys just standing up. You don't know where they're standing up, they're moving around. It's like, where are these guys going to come from? And they all have the ability to run by you, run through you, like all of that. And so having that ability, I think now with Micah, who can go middle, outside, inside, I would not be shocked if there are packages this year where we see Micah dropping in the deep coverages. I won't be shocked. But you can add J-Ron Kirsten to that mix, somebody who can come down and fill in that spot. And now you can line up. You can go ahead and line up and say, okay, give me Micah Parsons, give me Sam Williams, give me Tank Lawrence, and give me LVE, and then have Barr in the middle, bring down J-Ron Kirsten, that kind of hybrid linebacker, and I can have some, DBs flying around here. I mean, there's things that you can do when you have guys like that. I think LVE is going to have a decent year this year because he's finally now not having to be the guy. I think
Kimber's football husband.
Yeah, I mean, it matters when you have to go from being the centerpiece to just a piece. When he had to be the centerpiece, that's a lot of pressure.
Right.
And some guys just don't play well in that role. But now I can just be the third leg into this linebacking core and let Anthony Barr do what he do, let Michael Parsons do what he does, and now I can just clean stuff up. So that may be a good role, but I think Dan Quinn's going to use his defense and just be all over the place with this stuff, man, and have these guys lined up everywhere.
Nice.
We have somebody in the background wants to come up and speak. I'm telling y'all now, Daryl brings the hype. I'm telling y'all right now, my God, Daryl brings the hype. So be prepared. I'm gonna get him up here. Yeah, he's gonna bring the hype real quick. My God, Daryl, how you doing, Daryl? Daryl, are you ready? He's trying to figure himself out in the mirror right now. Daryl going once. Daryl going twice. All right, Daryl.
Daryl, come on, man.
Daryl, don't move. Hey, cue up the Eminem real quick. Dun. Come on, Daryl. Come on. 1 minute. I'm gonna bring him back down. Professor, go ahead and jump on in there, man.
Oh, now he pops up. Now we see his camera. All right. So, yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying, too. We saw Sam Williams, one rep in particular, early in training camp. They showed Micah Parsons rushing on the edge. Sam Williams was lined up at 3 tech, did a quick rip under move between the center and guard and got instant pressure. So knowing what he's able to do physically from an athletic standpoint, you just have so many chess pieces, which is what Downey and Holley both mentioned, too. But you have DeMarcus Lawrence, who later in the season last year we saw take some snaps at 3 tech. You have Chauncey Golden, who's bulked up, who's now going to play some 3 tech. You have Neville Gallimore, who's going to play 3 tech and 1 tech. We have Watkins, like you guys mentioned. We have a guy like J-Ron Kirst, which because of his athleticism and size can do so many different things. He can be a standing edge rusher situationally. He can set the edge to force plays back inside. He has the length to be a tight end eraser. Then you have guys like Marquise Bell that we've heard Dan Quinn talk about saying, could he be a quasi linebacker? So we have a lot of different pieces that allow you to attack offenses from a lot of different angles. And then Anthony Barr, Holley called him a football dude. I think that's a really good description for him because he's been a guy who's been good in coverage early in his career. He's been a guy that's been effective as a pass rusher. He was a former running back in college. Like, he's just an athletic dude that can do a lot. He's had injuries, but again, he's another piece that you just add into the equation, and it allows Dan Quinn to play with the toys that we have on the defensive side. And I think we'd be remiss too not to bring up Al Harris. So Holley mentioned earlier that our defense kind of takes on the tone that's set by our head coach. We have that same type of fiery personality in Al Harris. Al Harris was that, emotional leader type of guy when he was in Green Bay. So you have that guy being an example to the defense. You have a guy like George Edwards, who's a phenomenal linebacker coach, former DC for the Vikings. So the meeting of minds that you have in the defensive room, and I didn't even mention Joe Witt, who hopefully recovers soon and is back with the team, which I think they said that they are expecting him to be back with the Cowboys soon. But there's just so many different minds there that it allows the defense just to be an amoeba defense. You can attack in a lot of different angles and put a lot of pressure on an offense. So I wish we would have seen more at camp. I don't know why the Cowboys channel decided just to kind of focus on the offense. We did see a little bit of defense, but it was probably 90% offense. I don't know if that was intentional or just because of the angle of where they were recording from. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what we can do on the defensive standpoint this year. Knowing that we have so many defensive linemen that can play different positions, the where are they coming from angle definitely matches. So like Tom mentioned, having two guys lined up right there, the A gap, are they both rushing? Are they both dropping back? Are you dropping one of those athletic three techs back in coverage? Are all of them coming? That causes issues with the offensive line too, because the center pre-snap is calling out the snap alignment or the snap protection. Who's going to slide? Are we not sliding? What are we doing? Who's picking up who? And if you just generally don't know, that's how you get a mix-up. And when you have guys as athletic as Sam Williams and Micah, you can make them pay quickly. And we have Fowler, like another guy that's versatile that can play a lot of different positions. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's called Professor. And that's why it's called Professor O, ladies and gentlemen. Right in and there on full display, if you will, laying it out there. I got text mails up here. If you have a question for Holley and Tom Downey, real quick, man, by all means, go ahead and shoot it off here real quick. And we're going to pivot because I know y'all's time is. Anytime y'all got to go, man, just let me know. But we're talking Apple before you leave, Holley. I'm telling you right now, we are getting on that rant before you leave. And of course, however much time y'all have, just let us know. Go ahead, text mail. Get your question off, man.
Shout out to everybody. Jesse, just want to say, been watching you for years, man. Love your stuff. Saw you in 2009 in San Antonio. You're gracious enough to be the only one besides Jerry Jones come around signing some autographs. So good looks on that. But no, I think it's fair to say we're all more excited about the defense at this point. Got a lot of question marks, but what have you seen on the offensive line that maybe somebody's excited about that? Because everybody hasn't been excited at all. What have you seen that excites you at all about the offensive line right now?
Crickets? Well, I haven't seen anything that excites me on the offensive line, so mine's quick. I'll just get that in and out. So we need a swing tackle so badly. I don't know if it's just going to be after this game and they're finally going to open their eyes and see it, but the offensive tackle position is terrifying for me. Yeah, there's not really anything on the offensive line that I'm excited about.
I think they're not allowing. Well, I think silence is golden, and as Downey and Holley just kind of, I think that's all we need to say. Text. I got somebody up on the back end, brother. I'll mess with you later. Appreciate you coming up, as always, and rocking with us, man.
It's bad when my notes on the offensive line was the best thing I could find is, well, Biotish isn't as bad as he was. And that was like my best note.
That's very fair. The Lunatic, how are we doing this evening, sir?
We are doing great with this excellent show. Appreciate it, Jesse, Tom. Great content. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Go
Tom, hashtag cocks out, hashtag baby maker.
Okay, not the last part. Yeah, Jesse's very confused. Yes. So
he'll get it.
The baby maker part, I can't even begin. I have an 8-month-old. We'll just go with that. I mean, that's the best way to describe it. Hashtag Cox out is for Jabril Cox.
There it is.
Okay.
for Jabril. Lucy, you got a question, man?
Hey, listening to this great stream and everything, we are feeling very confident with Dan Quinn's defense. My question is, why are we not feeling as confident about Kellen Moore's offense? Is it just the coordinators?
Okay, all right. We'll go ahead and get that answer. Tom, is it just the coordinators for this offense that's just not making you feel confident?
I think it's just the coordinators. It's that you lose your number 1B, whatever you want to describe it, receiver. You lose a solid backup receiver 3 in Cedric Wilson. You maybe stayed the same at right tackle, but I'm not really sure. And hopefully got better at left guard, but I would still argue that center was the bigger problem on the offensive line anyway, plus all the penalties, and I don't have a lot of faith that's going to get changed. And the offense went from being awesome, and if number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever, in the first half to not even being able to run the ball when teams dared them to last year. So it's just downward trend at the end of the season to they didn't really do anything to inspire confidence during the season.
I mean, ends and starts with offensive line, perhaps, Holley, or is it just the coordinators for you?
No, it's a combination of both, but you're absolutely right. I mean, any coach, anybody who's ever watched the game of football will tell you it starts and ends at the line of scrimmage. If you can't protect your quarterback, you're toast. And you know, Tyron, when he's healthy, I think he's still one of the top 10 tackles in the league. But when he's healthy, you know, he left practice the other day with something, right? And so we just never know what it's going to be with Tyron. And then now, if he's out, there's this huge influx on who goes to tackle, who stays, who, you know. So it's and then there's no confidence in being able to say that the coaches are going to be able to make the proper adjustments to get things right, whether that's Phil Ben, Kellen Moore, or Mike McCarthy. But there's no confidence in any one of those two that they're going to be able to right the wrongs of this deficient offensive line, and you don't have the players on this offensive line that are showing you. And maybe we're spoiled, right? Maybe we're spoiled because we're used to having the, you know, the best offensive line in the league. And maybe that's where we're at. We're just saying, like, we were so used to having Travis and Zach and Tyron, and then, you know, good old – remember good old Ron Leary?
Yeah, right?
Like, what can we find another Ron Leary? You
Right.
know, like, to having those guys for those 4 or 5 years when you had them, it was like – you just knew that when that line showed up, it was that deal. We don't have that now, and I think that's going to be a huge factor in how this team is going to operate this year.
Tom, I don't know if you have any experience on YouTube here with the Toxic Tom Downey burner account. Do you or do you not have any experience with that account, sir? No, wait. Tom's buffering on my end.
Yeah, he's froze over here.
Okay, we'll wait and see for a second. Spoony, if you got a question for Holley as Tom's working out that so we can get the other question up, go ahead and get that. Yes. And then we're going to end on some Daryl, and then we're going to get the Apple question. I know, Holley, I appreciate you actually worked a little bit longer than you said you would. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Do you feel with because of the lack of movement from Stephen Jones that Mike McCarthy's on the hot seat moving forward if we don't have a good year this year?
Mike McCarthy's gone. Mike is gone. He's a lame duck. And it's unfortunate. But
don't you do that, Camber.
Unless there's a Super Bowl run, Mike's gone. Mike's gone. And I said this at the end of last year, and it's kind of playing itself out this year. But they're setting the table for Sean Payton to come in. I truly believe that. I truly do believe that. And their backup plan, and Jerry, because he's such an amazing businessman, there's always a plan B for Jerry. Hence why he brought back Dan Quinn. Because his process is, I'm going to shoot for Sean Payton. And if for some bizarre reason I can't, then I'm going to have the fixture in-house already in Dan Quinn. But he's going to shoot for Peyton. I mean, it's one of those things where he's saying, and I think for Jerry, he understands the next head coach for him is probably his last hurrah. I just think he's gonna empty the clip to go get because he knows I don't have another 4, 5, 6 years to keep. Because if whoever the head coach is next, you're now talking about that guy is either going to figure out how to do it with Dak, or I got to get rid of him and find another franchise quarterback.
Do you think?
Oh, sorry.
I was just say, do you think even within that spectrum, would he step on Steven's toes if he got Sean or whoever is coming here next to get that final gas run?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that they're going to give Sean Payton the free reign that Sean Payton requires?
They have no choice.
Okay.
They have no choice. That is Sean Payton. That he's going to come in kind of a la Bill Belichick, a la Bill Parcells. And if I come, I will pick my team. I will have full. Because if not, I can go anywhere. I can go anywhere else.
Right.
I can stay in the booth, or I can pick any other franchise that I want. So it's either you're going to give me exactly like you're not going to tell me when you hired me, oh, I got to keep Boy Wonder. That ain't happening. That ain't happening.
Which is a great segue. That's a great segue right there because, Tom, I don't know. Do you have any dealings with the YouTube account of the Toxic Tom Downey burner account at all?
No, but it's funny. I'm also pretty sure it's Skywalker Steel as the profile picture, which is hilarious.
There it is. Yes. So with that being said,
he's part of the A to Z family. So he's in Skywalker's chat every single morning. That's actually where I met him.
Yeah.
So
he has been super excited about you showing up here. And as we're talking head coach and Holley, a professional segued into it, not even knowing that's like the third eye open and segueing into this. He wants to know from the real Tom, is Kellen Moore the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys?
No, I think Jesse nailed it. I think they'll make their play for Sean Payton, and if not, they'll just end up hiring Dan Quinn, unless like the defense like completely falls apart and suddenly Mike Nolan is in charge again, which I don't think is going to end up happening.
Okay.
I think Jesse nailed it. I mean, they're not all in this year. Their moves were not all in. They cleared some of the bad contracts they didn't like. They can clear more next year, and they can go all in with a new head coach and maybe even spend $10 whole in free agency too.
That's a lot of pie. Watch out. That's a lot of pie.
But Sean Payton's coming from a team that knows you can just always bake more.
From your lips to God's ears, sir. From your lips to God's ears over here. All right. We're going to get okay.
We got one quick question for Jesse from the chat.
And
I have to ask it because it's one of our mod extraordinaires. So, Jesse, TC915, one of our mods, says, ask Jesse if there's an undrafted free agent wide receiver on the team that not only has a shot of making the roster, but could be a real contributor when the season kicks off. Also, let him know I'm a big fan. So is there an undrafted free agent you think will not only make the team, but could possibly be a contributor? And I guess we can add Vasher in the mix, even though this is really year 2, but.
No.
All right, there we go.
There it is.
I appreciate the love, though. I love you back. Thank you, but I just don't. I don't see it. I don't.
Look, Aisha hit not $10, Tom. Not $10. In case y'all haven't seen, real quick, I'm gonna pivot over here. I do want to talk some Apple before you get up out of here. You inspired me, by the way, and you touched me in my soul when you dropped this video. I was like, where is this video going on you on Twitter? And I'll roll out the red carpet here. If y'all haven't seen Jesse Holley, he had a message for Apple. He dropped a nice little video. Jesse, you want to mention your message to Apple? As we're on the eve, we're very much on the very much so eve of the iPhone 14 dropping.
Oh, are we? I didn't even know that. Honestly, I didn't.
Yeah, September. We're in August. It'll be here like late September, early October. Yes, we're here.
Because like I just got. Here's where it all stemmed from. So I just got a new bedroom set, but if you've ordered furniture in the last 6 to 8 months, you know
it takes forever.
It takes forever. But it took me forever to get to bed. And they're like, hey, your nightstands aren't here, but the bed, they'll send the bed. Okay, just we'll figure the rest of the stuff out. So I don't have any nightstands. And the plug is where my bed is centered in the middle of the room. The plug is so far from the bed. So a lot of times at night, I gotta just go solo dolo. I'm like, yo, YOLO, if it dies, it dies. Or try to charge it before I go to bed. Like to have the phone in the bed doing my late night texting and tweeting and whatever with the phone, you know. So but the Apple cord it's not long enough. And when you open that box, and I'm saying, Apple, come on, like don't cheat us. We pay all of this money, a mortgage,
racks,
a mortgage for a phone. And again, it is our lifeline. It is our alarm. It is our internet. Like, think about how many times we've been in the bed at night, texting, whatever, you know, Googling, just all different stuff, YouTube, whatever it is. I mean, I got literally, I have Microsoft 360 app on my phone. I can do a Word document on my phone. It's literally become my lifeline. And so when I'm trying to lay in bed and finish a project or finish something up, and the cord doesn't work, and then you got to go buy these other cords that last 2 or 3 weeks before they die. Yeah. And I'm just so fed up. And now they don't even give you the cube anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they took the little block out of there too. Yeah.
So I'm like, Apple, stop. We paid $3,000 for these phones, and you give me this 6-inch cord. Nobody sits that close to a wall socket. Nobody sits that close to a wall socket, Apple. Stop playing in our face and stop giving us a 6-foot-long cord and make it with the same metal that you made Wolverine with. So
adamantium, yeah, let's go.
Vibranium.
What is it called? I called it animanium the other day. I don't know what it is.
It's adamantium.
Adamantium.
Now, give me that adamantium. Make it with that. Of course, right? Like after a while, like this piece right here will.
Oh yeah. It's breaking.
Give me something with a little bit more strength to it, and make it 6 feet long, so I can lay in the bed and do what I do, or text it, tweeting, whatever, so I don't have to YOLO it throughout the night. Apple, come on.
Tom, are you team Android or are you team Apple? Are you feeling this pain or?
I'm team cheap when it comes to my phone, so I have an Android, but I do have a Mac laptop, or an Apple laptop.
Yeah. Fair enough. Tom's like, yeah, y'all deal with that. I'm just over here. Look, I can get this USB-C anywhere. I'm good.
Of course, they don't make it strong because then they can't get you to buy a second one.
Oh, trying to get our pie them $10. Trying to get that pie from our salary cap here to go out here and get another one.
See, I was in a store probably a year and a half ago getting a new phone, and they told me, hey, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of the big cell phone carriers, both Apple and Samsung are not going to give the bricks anymore because they said it's a waste of money. It's adding cost to the phone because everybody already has those. And at the time I was like, I don't know if that's accurate, but okay, whatever. Then not long after that, they were like, oh, by the way, we're not using USB cords anymore. We're using USB-C cords. Mm-hmm. So the cord that you have doesn't fit the brick you have from our old phone. So you have to buy a brick from us or from Amazon or some third party. And I'm like, so it's all just to get extra money in. But yeah, so you should not have to lay in your bed with an extension cord just so that you can have your cell phone plugged in. That's crazy.
Yeah, my daughter has like a little tower and does all kinds of weird stuff to make it get to where she needs to go. I'm like, all right, you made it work. It's like Legos, putting stuff together to make it work wherever she's at. The lunatic it says, fill in the blank. The 22 Dallas Cowboys will make a deep playoff run if, Tom Downey.
If the offensive line plays a lot better than what we're worried they're going to play like.
Okay. Holley?
That's one of many.
If Jesus is on a 53-man roster.
Say it one more time.
If Jesus is on a 53-man roster.
From your lips to God's ears, what can we do? From your lips to God's ears. Camber, same question. Hey, Cowboys make a deep playoff run if outside of Jesus, we got Jesus in the offensive line. You can go anywhere in between now, and you're safe.
I don't know if there's anything else you can
Okay.
There's
Is that where we're at?
Honestly, Jesus and the offensive line. That's what we need.
Is that where Spoonie, Jesus offensive line? Is there anything else?
No, I think Jesse Holley, Nate Newton, Michael Irving, Emmitt Smith, they all need to get in there into the locker room and tear it down. You know, I want to see when the New York Giants played the Minnesota Vikings, and they beat them 41-0 in the playoffs. You saw LT, Michael Strand was playing LT, and the former Giant players came there and pushed these guys. I want Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones to bring every former Cowboy player in that locker room and explain to them what it is to wear that star. Where is the passion? Where is the grit? You know, you understand what I'm saying? That's what's needed.
Or not even make wine. Can Micah walk on water even, Bruce? I mean, we'll take either or, huh?
Micah might be able to walk on water. Like I'm serious. Like
yeah.
Like Micah might be like, you know, like a prophet. Like he might be one of the disciples. Like so.
We're getting close. Look, that's getting us close there, Jesse. That's getting us kind of close.
Let's just clone him then.
Yeah, you know, right, Professor.
Yeah, we can
Jesus,
clone
offensive
Micah.
line.
Yeah, that's the answer. If we can clone Micah and put him on the offense.
Yeah, there's two things. So it's just there's this bad air that's been hanging around the Cowboys, and there's two events that we can point to. Two. So first of all, everyone will agree we have to put Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor. That's just this thing has been going around, and then Jerry made the comment last year, and it's a question of is he going to get in or not? When he's going to get in? You know, the sniveling and all that stuff. Like, just put him in the Ring of Honor. Get that done. Get that out of there.
The second one.
The more important thing though is Rowdy has to go.
Kill
Rowdy has to go. He became the official mascot. Jesse,
Get him
he
out of
became
here.
the official mascot
Rowdy's
in
gotta go.
1996. The year after our last Super Bowl, Rowdy became the mascot. We
Cowboy
did not win
got
a
it
playoff
right
game
off into the
until
sunset. Bye-bye.
2009. Rowdy was not on the team in 2009. He came back the next year. So from 96 to 2009, Rowdy was this curse in the Cowboys organization. So we need to get rid of Rowdy and put Jimmy in the Ring of Honor and all of it. That's like the minister with the stage. Like that's what we got to do to get. That's it.
There it is.
Rowdy's got to die.
So all right, here's the pick six plan. We got
Jesse's
six right
mind
here.
is either blown or he's anti-motor.
Yes, here's the pick six plan. One, offensive line for Tom Downey. 2, Jesus, maybe Micah can be that guy. There it is. 3, put Jimmy Johnson directly in the Ring of Honor right now, stat. And number 4, Rowdy. We banged the table here a long time if you didn't know.
And when you talk about mascots, and people are
got
like,
to go.
that is just a mascot, is not a big deal. Robert Kraft tells a story that heading to training camp, he was riding on a golf cart. A fan ran up to him and said, hey, our mascot wears zeros, double zeros. We've never won a Super Bowl. And he said he didn't think about it. They changed their mascot that year to number 1 and won their first Super Bowl the same year. I don't know what it is about mascots, but they're cursed. Like, it's got to go.
You got a family, probably a mortgage, probably. No, this is real true. Like Rowdy makes like 90 G's a year.
I saw the Bulls mascot makes like 200K a year. Whatever Benny the Bull, I think is his name. Yeah.
Of course, he's actually doing like dunks and stunts and stuff.
Yeah.
Though.
Okay, let's just change what the mascot is.
What are you gonna change it to? Like a real cowboy? What are you gonna change?
Give him a number 6 jersey. I don't know.
Can we bring a crazy?
I don't care if it's a giant dancing
Can we bring a Crazy Ray
back?
back? Can we get Crazy Ray back in the building? R.I.P.
Let's get a Crazy Ray back.
Notes right there. Get a guy to come in, just be Crazy Ray out the old at the home game.
Make what's her name? Make you guys know who I'm talking
Miss
about.
Price.
Miss Price. Yes, Miss Price.
The new.
There it is. Sign it. Yes, let's do it. Run it. Look, we could look. Rowdy, the guy behind the mask. We could reposition him in the organization somewhere.
Right.
We just to make sure he gets his money. We can make that happen. Let's just get rid of the Rowdy. Put him in a different suit. Even it's fine.
I've never in my life heard the Rowdy the way you broke it down.
Really?
Professional.
Yeah. You know what's funny though is last year during Hard Knocks, Dak was in the quarterback room and they were talking about mascots, and Dak was like, I don't know, I just get a weird vibe about them. They're like serial killers or something. I'm like, I knew I liked Dak. Like I thought I liked Dak before, but now I knew I liked him. Like we're on the same wavelength.
Wow. Yeah.
So Rowdy's got to go. Cancel him.
With that being said, Holley or Tom, anytime y'all need to leave, because we rock out here for about another 30 minutes or so. man, if y'all want to stay, cool. If y'all need to leave, let me roll out the red carpet for y'all to do what y'all need to do before y'all get up out of here.
Out of here. It is.
10-4. 10-4.
I would be sweet. I am the oldest of old men that there's ever been old. I'm like I was like, damn, boy, 9 o'clock. 20 years ago, I might have been ripping and running the streets.
Right.
I'm like, 5:30 gonna get here one way or another.
Yeah, you'll be like, oh man, look at the time. Time to roll. All right, Mr. Holley, we appreciate you, brother, and everything that you did. By all means, if y'all don't know who he is, I mean, come on, don't be dumb. But whatever you want to plug, my friend, by all means, go ahead and get your plug on, sir.
Man, it's not the time of that year yet, but the time of the year coming, I'll jump back on in to promote. But of course, Holley's Helping Hands is always up and running. We do our big Christmas event coming up in December. So look out for that. You guys can give donations for that. Just came out yesterday with the documentary on DallasCowboys.com. Mind Game. What is it? Mind Games?
Yes. You're good.
Mind Games.
It's late.
Mind Games. It's the mental health aspect from a football perspective. So please go check that out. Your favorite quarterback, Dak Prescott, is in there. A bunch of guys are in there. I'm in there. Yes, that is true. Emmy nominated Jesse Holley. That is true.
Yes.
My documentary last year on we did this. So we'll know by the end of this month if I'm actually Emmy Award winner. We're gonna speak into existence. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. You can find me on Twitter. Only place I'm at is on Twitter. I need to open up another space. Maybe I'll do a TikTok. I don't know. But
TikTok.
yeah,
Okay, spicy. For a guy who's admittedly an older man, you said TikTok. Okay.
I've been trust me. I've been struggling with this whole thing of anything else. I'm addicted to Twitter and I hate Twitter all in the same breath.
Same.
The struggle.
All in the same breath. I just wish I worked for like DeVry and had nothing to do with sports and anything like that, and just would be completely out of here. But no, you guys can find me on Twitter at Mr. Fourth and Long. Holler at me, man. I'm very, very approachable. Just don't put an I in my name, and we're good to go. So yeah. And then of course for the season, you can find me every Friday with Jeff Kavanaugh on Believe Cowboys. Yes. You can find me every Sunday at A to Z Sports with my boy Sky Walker. We're doing the pre-halftime and post-game show, and you can find me during the season 5 days a week over at DallasCowboys.com with Hanging with the Boys. I'm a Jamaican. Nobody works more than me. I got 13 jobs.
He stays moving around, ladies and gentlemen. That's why he's got to go to sleep early. He's got too many moves to make.
Really?
And he be in the gym like super. The sun's out up. He be in the gym getting
I know.
still.
I don't know if you guys can hear. I got to give a shout out to my boy. Come here. He's not a baby anymore, but come here, Mamba.
Can you? Oh, Mamba. Mamba's like, no. I'll get him. Oh, he's can he? Maybe. I don't know. Oh my God. Hey.
My boy. Here we go.
Oh, he's
there
beautiful.
He is.
He was snoring. He's sleeping.
Maybe the best special guest we've had, period, the entire time of the Freestyle Friday show right there, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the
pretty dog. Pretty. Yeah, man.
He's a pretty baby.
Connie Corso Mamba. He's asleep. He's a lazy dog. But we're out of here, man. We're going to bed.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, man.
All right.
Yeah. Mr. Downey.
Yes, I got another 5 or 10.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me spin it to you, sir. 5 or 10. You've been answering questions and going back and forth. Wherever you want to take the conversation. It could be Cowboys. It could be anywhere. You can do whatever, wherever you want to go. Now, you're 5 or 10. You spin them how you want to over here at Pick 6. How about that?
We'll stick Cowboys. I think that
Fair
makes
enough.
most sense, I guess. Let's see. Any players you guys are watching for in the preseason?
I'm looking at, like, particularly for just this game for me. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at tight end number 2. I need to see something there because I think very early on, what we kind of talked about with this offensive line, where the wide receiver room is, I think for me is we need the 12 personnel package. We kind of understand what Kellen Moore does within that package and what they need to do until Gallup gets back here. So I need to see McKeon. I need to see Ferguson, maybe even Sprinkle. Hey, let's not forget about Pendershot, right? And what he can bring to the table.
Don't forget
Yeah, don't forget about Peyton. So for me in this game, and we're going to see all these backups, Let me see what these backup tight ends get into. I understand that it could be behind the 8 ball with how the offensive line is going to look and depending on the quarterback and what's happening there. But I'm keyed in very much so right now on the tight end position because that 12 personnel package is what they want to get to. So that would be my pick, and I'll let everybody else go there. Spoonie, what are you looking at preseason wise from our guy Tom?
Yes, I'm looking at Kelvin Joseph. It's been kind of irritating to me just hearing his name being mentioned in his special teams. He was a 2nd round pick. He's supposed to, at this time of the year, we would expect him to be battering out Anthony Brown for that number 2 job. So I want to see him in live action this Saturday to find out is he making that next step into the conversation of just not just special teams.
I like that one.
All right, Camber.
Of course, got to talk about my guy, Simi. He's been having a solid, consistent camp. Hoping
Camber,
to see that.
When LV leaves and Simi's here, are you is that the divorce from the football husband and the remake?
Yes, that's the new husband. That's the new husband. Once LV's gone, Simi will be my new football husband. No, he's had a solid camp. From everything I've heard from everybody, hoping to see that translates into the game scenario with that. The other thing would be the rest of the linebacker core. We know what Parsons is. Is LV going to be there? Barr, Cox coming forward, and is he going to, so we need some solid from that.
Shark guy, Professor Rowe.
So there's a lot of guys I'm looking forward to watching, but the one guy for me is Quinn Bohanna. So he was a guy last year that was a fan favorite. We finally got our one tech. We finally got our big body guy. We didn't really get to see him last year, but this year he's trimmed down a little bit because he was, he's a large guy. He's slimmed down a little bit. He's had a strong camp from what I've seen. I know that Vach and Skywalker were there at camp last week, and both of them said he looks really good. And I noticed he's been in the rotation for whatever that means right now in camp, ahead of Ridgeway, who has a leg injury right now, which I don't know if you guys have heard. Is there any updates on his leg injury? Do we know, is it like a strain or is it still up in the air? But either way, that battle was really intriguing because we're looking at the defensive tackle room, and we have a lot of guys that can play 3-tech. We have Tristan that's kind of the bubble guy in the 3-tech room. And then we look at our 1-techs and we say Neville can potentially play 1-tech and probably will. We have Watkins who can play 1-tech, and then you have Big Bo and Ridgeway. Are they really going to keep both of them on the roster? I know Brian Broaddus said he could see that happening, but I just don't think they're going to go that deep at 1-tech. So I was really intrigued to see Big Bo versus Ridgeway in action. I don't know if Ridgeway's playing or not, so I guess I'm just going to be, locked in on Big Bo this week. But what I've seen so far, I've liked. I've seen him get his pad level lower. Last year, he was getting high too quickly out of his snap or out of his stance. So he looks like his pad level's gotten a little bit better. He looks quicker to me than what I remember last year. So I'm excited to see Big Bo. I think he's kind of a forgotten name amongst Cowboys fans because Ridgeway's the new toy and the draft pick, so people are excited about him. But Big Bo was drafted for a reason too. There's only one round difference between them, so let's not forget about Bohanna. So
Thanks.
Big Bo.
Our guy Lunatic says no super chat, but where do I cash app? We don't do cash apps here, ladies and gentlemen.
For anybody
I'm
who do
sorry.
shots.
Now
we do shots for free. They don't have to cash app for that.
I'm gonna get to the shot here in just a second. Here's the thing. We are literally like 40-ish, somewhere 40 to 50, somewhere within there before we hit the 1K subs, and then the super chats will be available. And that's how we're going to build this thing and do it the right way. I'm not mad at anybody that does the cash app and everything else, even though they'll drop them 1099s now out there for people that are doing it. But neither here nor there. Just for us and how we're trying to build the thing. Man, once we get there, we'll get there. We got the website coming. We just appreciate y'all rocking with us. And when we get there and y'all are willing to, maybe super chat us or whatever.
Wait,
cool.
He's going to pay for shots?
No, Cameron. Well, you inbox the Lunatic then. You inbox the Lunatic then, and I'll let you.
I like
handle
that the bottle was within arm's reach of her. Like
no
bottle.
Well, let me, and of course, and real quick, and everybody's rocking with us, man. We appreciate it because we got close. We definitely got over 100 subs over the past like 48 hours, and we're up to 950, I do believe. Ooh, and the one thing I did put out there today, because I remember watching your show, and I'll never forget, Tom. You were live. You hit the 100K. Here came the jack out of nowhere, and it was go time.
It was
go time. So I told everybody, I said, well, dang it, Tom Downey's coming on. And if we hit 1K, and I know it's a far cry from 100K, I'm going to do the same.
Nice.
However, this was the bottle.
Little shooter. There you go.
Because here's the thing. If he has the big bottle for 100K, well, I can't come in here with a big bottle for 1K.
Yes.
I have to start here for 1K.
I like it.
And then 10K, I can go up a bottle. Okay. 50, I can raise up. And then if we ever are lucky enough to hit 100K, then at that point, well, if Tom is still around and wants to rock with us, he might get out here and I'll be like, pick six, man, they're cool and all, but my God, that kept me on way too long. But at that point, I would pick up the big bottle for the 100K, like our guy Tom did. But for the 1K,
I like it. I like it.
DJ, I was ready, man.
Oh my God!
I had it right now. I was ready for it.
Yeah. But now on the back side of that, your question. Let's hear your answer to your own question, sir.
I actually got a video on it tomorrow.
Never mind. What
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
I had Kelvin Joseph in there actually as one of them. I kind of went with the receivers in the end because a lot of the young guys are going to play. Lamb's not going to play, but we'll see what Dennis Houston can do. It was funny. Jesse mentioned doing the things that we don't see, running the right route of death, being in the right position, lining up correctly, etc. And I think that's why Dennis Houston has gotten reps with the first team since, he's a UDFA. He hasn't done any super hyped of like the Feoko Vasher plays yet, but he's gotten those chances with the one. So I think the coaching staff likes him quite a bit. I'd like to see that could translate to a game, even though I don't know if they're going to have Will Grier, which would mean a lot of Ben DiNucci, and that kind of ruins that ruins the evaluation process. As far as I'm concerned, he's just not good. Yeah. But Houston, Feoko, Vasher, Noah Brown, I'm very curious to see how those guys fare. So I was thinking about it when watching the joint practice. Dak threw that high pass that Justin Simmons almost picked off, and he immediately went and started talking to Noah Brown, which I interpret typically as a sign of Noah wasn't where he needed to be on that route depth, and that's partially why the pass and connection wasn't the way it needed to go. I think that was a bit of an issue at points last year too for the offense, where they just weren't always on the same page. I think it was the Cedric Wilson turns the wrong way and it leads to an incomplete pass. So I think they've got some things to work out, and hopefully the new receivers coach, Robert.
I was going to say our guy. I was going to say Dak kind of spoke about that, and shout out to our leader of the wrench gang in the building, Mendoza. He actually found where he was, and he dropped it in our group chat earlier. And Dak spoke exactly what you were talking about there. Is spot on, because what Dak said was, hold on, let me get it real quick. He goes, it was a 50-50 read. He went with the read he felt like he could win, and I got to expect that I got to expect and know that he's going to win on that. I thought he was going to make it an easier route, and he went for the harder route, and that's fine. But and he goes, that's where the big play is. So I got to be in tune with him, and we'll do that. And he goes, that's an easy fix. And he kind of went on and spoke about that while he went and spoke to him immediately. So right, what you said there, Decker spoke about, man, that's Look at Tom, just into.
I actually didn't see that, so that's really good insight there. Hopefully that gets sorted out, because I think in general a lot more of the incomplete passes than we realize are because of the wide receiver quarterback weren't on the same page for whatever reason. Even the inaccurate throws normally over the middle, receiver might not have been where he needed to be.
Thanks.
Especially if you're trying to throw with anticipation. If the receiver's not where he needs to be, it's going to end up being real bad.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you mentioned Dennis Houston, who I think has been the guy that is, to me at least, has been the most surprising in the wide receiver room, because Vasher was the guy that a lot of people said, he's 6'5", he has this ridiculous arm reach, wingspan, he's going to be the guy that can go up and get the ball. And then myself, I was a Ty Freifogel fan. I liked his film a lot of Indiana, especially his 2020 film. So I was excited to see how he could fit. And then Dontario Drummond had a lot of fans from what he did at Ole Miss. Dennis Houston and Ja'Cory Robinson were the two guys that we didn't really they didn't really have the same fanfare behind them as what Freifogel, Vasher, and Drummond had. So it's kind of interesting to see what he's done at camp. The reason I think he's intriguing is we hear what Dak says about him being, a really high-level route runner as a young player. What I've been impressed with is most of the highlights, I don't even know almost exclusively all the highlights you see of him at camp are contested catches. He's not I haven't seen a lot of huge plays. I've seen him make very difficult catches, which is intriguing. What's interesting about him too is some of the comps I've seen from fans. I think we probably need to lower the bar a little bit, but I've seen Victor Cruz, Miles Austin, guys like that if he becomes that's phenomenal. Like what a add that to the list of undrafted free agent hits the Cowboys have had. I don't think we're going to see that out of him, but you never know. But I'm intrigued to see him and what he can do because Dak speaks highly of him in terms of being a route runner. He seems to have good hands. He has a decent size speed combination. He's definitely an intriguing prospect. And as of right now, it looks like he's going to be one of the 6 that they keep, assuming they go 6 deep at wide receiver.
We got a guy, Paul, over Facebook. And Paul, appreciate you rocking with us on Facebook. If you have the opportunity right there on the bottom, Pick 6 Sports over here on YouTube, come over here, hit that sub, and jump and comment over here that you subbed, and we're going to light it up for you with the flame emojis. Had the question of, will they set up a red zone package for Vasher? I mean, I think it's kind of, if Vasher makes the team right now. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, I would hope that's the route they go. Hopefully it's better than the whatever they tried with Rico Gathers. I think I never liked Rico. He wanted to be a rapper, not a football player, which is fine. But I just remember people were convinced he was the guy.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Fair.
He could have been good if he cared more. Anyway, off topic. I would hope if Vasher makes team, that's how they deploy him, because since he's got that size, other guys don't have on the team, which I think would be nice. And you're going to be without Gallup early on in the year. And unlike the Dak-Dez red zone connection, the Dak-Gallup red zone fade has really worked well. That chemistry and that connection has really clicked over the years. You're not going to have that to begin the season. So I'm sure they'll give CeeDee Lamb some reps there, but I wouldn't mind the occasional red zone shot with TJ Vasher. And I bet we see it work in the preseason, just like the Rico Gathers one did work in the preseason against the Cardinals, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Something like that. I think you're right.
But to the Rico comment, too, I'd like them to set it up. Like when we had Gavin Escobar, we did the same thing with Martellus Bennett. We did it with Gavin Escobar, and we did it with
Jason Witt wasn't having it, sir.
With Rico. So we brought them in a goal line situation, immediately split them out wide. In the first play they were there, tried to throw a fade. Like there was no setting it up. There was no we telegraphed the move. We brought them in specifically for this play, and we're going to throw a fade to them no matter what happened, and it didn't work. So like if you're going to do that, and I kind of think of the same regards with Lucky Whitehead. When he was in the offense, which wasn't a ton, but when he was here, it was a jet sweep or some play more often than not geared towards him. Like, let him run an actual route concept. Same with like a Tavon Austin. Like, put them out there for a series of plays first and then hit them with it. So when they're not expecting it, because if you just send them in one play out of nowhere, they're like, oh, giant wide receiver who's known for a jump ball. Like, that's what they're going to do. They're going to throw to him. And we've done that historically over the last decade more often than not. Like, play the game of chess a little bit more. Don't telegraph that move ahead of time and tip your hand as soon as they come on the field. But I would like to see Vasher get an opportunity because that was one of the things, with his length in college, he could make highlight plays, but he also was real thin and had some issues with contested catches, bringing them down just because he wasn't overly strong.
He wasn't physical enough, but he's got the size, and I know the new receivers coach likes the size. Something tells me they won't do that in terms of not just throw it to immediately. I mean, you can look at how they used Pollard last year when he was on the field, regular season. I think it was just regular season. I got the numbers in front of me. I didn't write down which one it was. When he was on the field, 47% of the time he had a carry or a target. So if he was out there, 50-50 chance the ball's going to him, which is a ridiculous tell.
Yeah.
So I hope they dial that back a little bit. More touches, but a lot more snaps too.
Tom, will get you out of here on this one because you talked about Gallup and some of that connection.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been widely contested about how long Gallup's going to miss. And we've kind of talked about this on this show within the spaces that we've been doing and everything. For you and everything that you've seen, heard, and talked about or researched even, How many games to you do you think Gallup's going to miss?
So the buzz of late, and Todd Archer kind of started it, and Brian Broaddus has kind of got on board too. I think they're really trying hard to keep him off of the PUP list. And they changed the PUP list rule this year, where it used to be you had to miss 6 games. Right. Now you only have to miss 4, which is a lot easier, or better, I should say. So I think they're going to try to keep him off that PUP list and get him back in time for week 3, or maybe you get lucky in week 2 and he's back by the Bengals. I know he had that the delay in the surgery. I know that he was rehabbing, or maybe pre-rehab is the way to describe it, before that surgery, and I think that helped cut down on some of the recovery time while he waited for the swelling in the knee to go down. So I really hope it's by week 3. And if it's by week 3, and even with the likely, got to build him up a little bit, get him into game shape, whatever, that does make me feel a little bit better about the wide receiver room, even if you have 20 million in cap space, you can sign somebody easily. But they're not all in. So
yeah, that's fair. But with the from the outside looking in, the silver lining here of the not greatness of the offensive line, but hey, Gallup may be a little bit quicker than a lot of people said. A lot of people saying with 6 games, 5 games. We're going through the chat here right now, and it's been wildly. We talked about this wildly a lot too as well. Is that I felt like 4. I felt where he was working out with the resistance bands and the OTAs and everything. I was like, man, it feels like he's ahead of schedule. The one thing about this coaching staff has always been that they've been the long game beforehand and not rush people back.
Something but how this does really well.
Right. However, with the way this offense is currently constituted and not getting help, are we going to see him finally press that button like, hey, man, I know we kind of want to hold you up for like maybe 5 or 6 games, but the way this room's set up, we're not signing nobody. Guess what? Hey, we need you back by 3, 4. But I do think I still believe in McCarthy won't rush him back if the knee's not all the way right. I do believe that. And I know you've talked about it, Camber. You've talked about it as well. Maybe a little bit ahead of y'all's timeline. So maybe a little bit of a cheer us up as we get up out of here tonight.
That's the optimistic, I think, what they want. We'll see if it happens. It's fair. Injuries, and I don't want them to jeopardize him.
The Cowboys' injury timetable hasn't been super accurate either. You remember last year, Neville Gallimore, he's only going to miss 3 or 4 games. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and then
Dr. Jerry is the one you got to be worried about.
Big facts. Brother, man, we appreciate you coming through here, man, and rocking with us and actually definitely give us a little bit longer time than you had. It's always it's always the red carpet's out here. Anytime you were to come over this way and holler at us, man, by all means, if you ever need anything from us, not that you really do, but if you ever want anything or need anything from us, by all means, the DMs are open. Let us know and everything. If y'all don't know Tom Downey in the chat, get familiar. I think everybody knows who Tom Downey is here, man. It is what it is. The one and only Mr. Cowboys Report. He's going to he's going to chug some of this, and I'll get to do this soon. I don't know when. But I'm going to get to chug
by
this
next
soon.
Wednesday. It'll be by next Wednesday.
Yeah, and I'm going to chug this. Hey, by all means, man, go ahead and plug exactly. Chat, lighted up the fires for our guy Tom. And go ahead and plug whatever it is that you would love to plug right now.
Yeah, youtube.com/Cowboys Report will take you over there. And then youtube.com/Chat Sports is where we do our NFL, NBA stuff. And then also on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. There's no S because Twitter has stupid character limits, but it's still fairly funny, so it's fine.
And also, he is a Cowboys legend. Be clear. Yes. With that being said, sir, have a wonderful night, man. We appreciate you as always, sir.
Of course. Thank you. Thanks, guys. I'll see you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, it was a fun time, guys.
Yes.
Got some interesting tidbits here and there.
Yes, we did.
We went everywhere from Jesus on this team to do anything all the way down to Apple.
Kill Rowdy and kill Rowdy.
We got some take Rowdy out back and old yeller him, put him down.
Yeah. There was an interesting comment though that I feel like needs to get some shine. So I'm not going to ask you to go bring it up because it was way up there, but somebody got a love confession tonight. Did you guys pick up on that?
I seen that.
I did. I'm going to see if I can find it. I'm going to roll back.
It was way up there.
I know it is. Look, I know it is. I'm going to shoot there, but there was.
Did they love Spoon?
No.
No.
I love Spoon.
No. I love
Spoon.
Spoon.
That wasn't it.
Yeah, I love Spoon.
I love you guys.
Somebody else got a special love shout out.
Yeah,
there was a love connection that happened right here in real time on Friday.
Possibly. I tell you what, said person is in the building. I mean, said person could just save me from all this
That'd be great.
All this scrolling I'm doing if he feels so inclined to put it out there real quick and help me, because I'm scrolling my ass off right now.
Yeah, I'm not calling you out or anything, but
no, I'm not calling you out.
But
I mean, it's only a matter of time. You can save me the trouble, or I'm going to find it. Look, y'all gotta let me know if it's possible.
There it is. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay, good. Now I can go all the way back down bottom. Wait. I don't. Oh, there it is. There, TC Wrench Gang says.
Aw, thank you.
TC 915. Her heart is already committed though to LVE.
Or Semi. You're down the line.
Are you married? Aren't you married?
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, this is awkward.
Because I thought I saw something about him saying something like not too long ago about his wife and the phone in the chat. It's cool.
No. Wait, was that OTC? But don't get caught up on cheaters here, like the Pick 6 edition. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Oh man,
that doesn't mean I can't love you too.
Oh no, well,
okay. Well, thank you.
Fair enough. He kept it. Okay. Hey, light it up.
Yes, Paul thank you for joining,
Paul has left the Facebook lane and has came over here to the YouTube lane. And let me get a count here. Let me see. Where did Paul put us at, guys? Let's see. Let me see exactly where Paul put us at tonight. You know what you got to do. Y'all got to light it up.
Exactly
Officially 950. We got 50 more to go, ladies and gentlemen. We have 50 more to go to the 1K.
Pull Bluff's comment.
Hold on. I got it. Boom.
When has a pesky thing like a marriage gotten in the way of love?
Never. But again, light it up. Our guy Paul done came through. Light it up for Paul. And I'm now 50 away from being able to chug my huge bottle of Jack Daniels.
Well, you know what? I say we should just toast right now, regardless. This is the last day for us Dallas Cowboys fans. Not see any Cowboys games as far as this year. Let's also toast to the Pick 6 family of all of us coming together, doing the great things that we're doing. The mods out there, the great support of the fans we have. Because let's be honest, we do have the greatest fan base in the world, and it's just a beautiful thing that with the experience that we've seen today. So I'm gonna give my toast and shout out to everybody. BJ,
I don't have a glass. But
me neither.
Professor O, Miss Camber, Bluff City, Mendoza, Dean Dom, Mr. Steve Johnson, Massey, Miss Mariella. We know you're watching. We love you. Shout out to Cowboys Nation on this panel who gives all the great support that we always, for the past 4 years. 4 years. Oh my God. It's just been great. And, like I said, if it wasn't for you guys giving us that support, we wouldn't be where we are today. God bless you. Love you guys. And we're going to have fun tomorrow watching this Cowboy game. Love you guys.
And literally what Spoon just did, y'all know, as soon as this happens, I'm doing the space. And Spoon, you got to come along for the ride now. You're trying to get me turned up.
Oh, no, I'm not done yet. We can still party out some,
Let's
go. That wasn't for the 1K, but
salute.
Absolutely.
That was for family, though.
That was for family. I don't have friends. I have family. if you will. With that being said, guys, thank you for working with us tonight. Give me about 11:30. Give me. I might go earlier, but no later than 11:30 Central Time. And me and Spoon are going to crank up on the backside here, man. I gotta dadgum. Typically, I'm off on Saturdays. Why I go late on Fridays? We're doing a sidewalk sale at our shop. I mean, we're blowing out a bunch of content, a bunch of projects we're blowing out tomorrow. So I got to be at the shop tomorrow. But you know what? This content can't wait. And Spoon just had me drink some Jack Daniels. So
Nix, I think tomorrow you should tell every customer I'll take an additional 5% off if you sub to my YouTube channel right now.
There you go.
You know what?
Perfect.
You know what? Yeah. Yeah, that part. I'm gonna formulate that. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all. And y'all know what it is. Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. Central, we do the pre-show space. Then moving forward at 7:30, we're here delivering the Pick Six Live report. Then on each and every Friday, we got the Cowboys happy hour at 7:30. We started a little early tonight, a special night. And then we come over here on this side and drop the Freestyle Friday where we get the guests in here and rock with y'all. And soon, for those that stuck around, because some of y'all dipped out of here, see, they didn't get to catch this and soon, Camber. And soon, as y'all have seen us on Twitter and what we've added, anyone that is subbed here, if you're on Twitter, we created a special community specifically for our YouTube subs to be a part of us, and we got a different lane in Twitter now for the people that are over here and sub to the channel. When you get in, you request the community. Go to my Twitter. I think everybody else's Twitter's already put it out there as well. And then you request, we put you in there. You drop your sub picture, boom, and you're in. So we can have a different kind of interaction with y'all on Twitter. And number two, future casting here, we will be having some new shows. We're working on some midday. Our guy Stevie J's in the building, Cam, Mass. We got some midday shows. We're about to start hitting you on a lot of different levels, man. You're on the ground level. We got a lot of stuff coming in the near future. Stay tuned, stay blessed. And then, of course, space here in a few minutes. Oh, no, TC, don't you do that. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. You watch it, Wrench Gang. You watch it. Peace.